Hello and welcome everyone to my YouTube channel. I'm Mizuina and today we will talk about One Piece chapter 1007, Tanuki-san. The Tanuki-san of course stands for Chopper. We will take a look at the cover page first. We see Shiza is blowing up some balloons. Some penguins are there with all kind of different hats. We see a baseball hat, cowboy hat, earphones, and they're having a lot of fun with the balloons. They're binding them around their body and flying away because I guess Shiza is blowing them up with some kind of special gas, of course, because of his devil fruit. It's a funny one. I really like it. It also looks like he is not having the time of his life. He's not doing that voluntarily. He seems a little bit confused and pissed off, I would say. It's really funny. But let's get into the chapter. The chapter has some really, really big reveals, and we want to talk about them. The first scene we see is that a lot of the Oniwabanshu and Mimiwaragumi captains are defeated, of course, by Boss Hyogoro, who took back his normal form before he got that old and weak. Because the Ice Devil virus we saw in the last chapter revealed his final power, what was left in him. But of course, he's going close to get a full demon, and Yatape is standing right behind him with the sword, just about to swing it, basically, but he just can't. All the Yakuza bosses are crying, and they understand that he just can't do it and execute him before he becomes a nice demon. Boss Hyogoro, of course, says that he can't hold it in any longer. There is no time. He has to be killed, and he is also in peace with himself. He knows that he could do everything possible in his power to defeat at least some of the enemies. Right? He did a very splendid job, we could say. We cut away to a scene with Queen and some of the waiters and pleasures. They have a talk about how Queen could possibly do that to their own crew members, and it's so heartless. And of course, it is because Queen wasn't caring a lot about who could be affected by the virus, right? He turns into a brachiosaur and r- tries to rampage a bit, let's say, and tells, let's say, the truth from his perspective to all the waiters and pleasures, that the pleasures aren't really useful for them since they are the failed products, basically, the ones who got a smile and couldn't awaken powers. So there's no use for them. And that the waiters are useless now as well, since the Smile Factory was cut and destroyed by Trafalgar Law, right? We saw that where he also had cut apart with his Devil Fruit Virgo. So that was when uh, the whole factory was cut in half. It was a pretty epic scene. We won't talk about all the conversations which are going on. There are some gifters and pleasures, not gifters, pleasures and waiters trying to fight against the ice demons, so the other comrades, basically. Queen is talking about how dumb they are, and that they are waiting for a pirate from another crew to help them, and how could they be possibly that dumb to believe that he will rescue them. And he's sure that even if he could possibly find an antidote, he would have used it for himself and just ran away and didn't care at all about some crew members of the enemy, right? Then we cut back to Yatape and Boss Yogoro. He's just about to swing the sword, and he gets stopped by Tanuki-san, so Chopper. We see his smiling face, and he's relieved that he made it in time. He instantly injected the antidote into the mouth from Boss Yogoro. Everyone is relieved that he's there. It looks really nice. It's the game changer, right? It was in a pretty dangerous state, the whole area there. Chopper was also well prepared. We see a cannon, which gets fired immediately, and we see a big smoke screen with Chopper's face in it. I really like that one. It's called Chopper's Phage Nebulizer. So Chopper thought that the most effective way would be to spread the antidote in the form of gas around the whole area, which is for sure a really effective way to spread the antidote. Even though if some people would get affected from it, it's an antidote, so I guess it wouldn't harm anyone. So that's for sure not a problem. And very effective, right? So he can heal a lot of the affected people at once. Then we see, of course, Queen is getting pretty pissed, pretty upset that what the hell is the Tanuki doing here? They have a conversation going on who could he possibly destroy his masterwork. He was for sure developing that virus quite a long time, and it's the best virus he could possibly develop. And I like that Chopper is referring to the 2 years where everyone in the Straw Hat crew tried to improve their abilities. Doesn't matter if it was for fighting or, in Chopper's case, also to get a better doctor, right? Not even a better scientist. In this case, it's more about a battle against between two scientists, right? And we see that Chopper is pretty pissed. I like where this is going. Queen is opening his mouth, and instead of the laser beam we saw in the last chapter, we see now machine gun blows coming out of his mouth. As we said before, he has a lot of tools in his mouth, I guess, in his whole body. I'm not sure if that will be explained later on. I would like to get a little bit of an explanation for that, why, for example, these weapons changed in his mouth and how this is working. But anyway, the pleasures and the waiters are covering Chopper so that Chopper wouldn't get hit by the machine gun blows. Queen enrages just more, and Queen is really upset about how the pleasures are behaving and saving Chopper. Then we see a little bit of how the affected pleasures and waiters will for sure fight now for the Straw Hat crew, not for the Beast Pirates anymore. Then we see a double page where I think Queen is trying to launch an attack, but he's in his Brachiosaur form, right? So he gets grabbed from Marco with his flame arms, and Marco is looking at Chopper and just saying to him, give him your best shot. You don't have to tell that Chopper twice. He instantly goes for the Rumble Ball, says thanks Marco, but he wants to get something straight. He turns into his big form, right, where he is approximately the same size as Queen, and he gets a really big punch of the face of Queen, and he shouts out loud, "I'm not a Tanuki." And we see a funny gesture of a lot of people, like from Marco, from Boss Yogoro, from Drake, where they cover their mouth and they think we are so sorry we thought you were a Tanuki, right? So that's a funny little joke there Oda made. We know that he likes to do that. We cut away from there to Right Brain Tower, Castle Interia, where Shinobu and Yamato are at the moment, together with Momonosuke, of course, who is covered in the clothes of Yamato. He has a little bit of a mental breakdown where he says he's so pathetic and spoiled and he hates to be like this. And Shinobu tries to react in a proper way and build up his spirit. And she says that he's a splendid young man. And when she says splendid, he turns into a dragon and asks, really splendid? Like, how could you think I'm splendid? Yamato and Shinobu both get surprised by that. They didn't see the dragon form before, I guess. Of course, not Yamato. I wasn't sure about Shinobu, but I guess it was the first time they saw his dragon form. Yamato thinks it's an eel, and Shinobu, I think, doesn't even know what's going on. She's just like Momonosuke-sama, like, what the fuck is happening, right? So we cut away from there. We cut to the reception room, Castle Interia. Was teased, I guess, from the page before. We cut to the CP0 members. They're having a conversation about the devil fruit that Momonosuke ate, and the last sentence of the one member from the CP0, the one with the scar and this robotic eyes or puppet eyes. I'm not quite sure which one of the two describes it better. And he's just saying that it's fortunate that the experiment of this devil fruit was a failure. So we don't know why this is the case, but for sure Oda wants to tease something with it so that it has some kind of bad effects on the body or bad effects on your life. It was for sure a failure. Maybe it's just also that they wanted Dr. Vegapunk wanted to copy the fish fruit because the fish fruit is insanely strong. We know that Kaido is got one of the emperors just because he ate the fish fruit. He was strong before, right? But the thing that got him to this power level is basically the fish fruit, right? So there's that. We cut away to the storeroom behind the castle tower where the scabbards got teleported by Trafalgar Law. They are all awake already. They have a little chit chat about who treated our wounds. They don't really know. Kamazo is explaining that he saw some kind of silhouette where he thought he knows the guy who helped them, but it just couldn't possibly be, right? He saw Oden and it just couldn't be, right? So he knew that was just some kind of dream. Then we see Kankuro thinking about Ruffy on the rooftop, that he's now fighting instead of them against Kaido and Big Mom. He's having a hard time and is really pissed off that they couldn't do more. And then we see a shadow in the entrance of the room. And from the shadow we can already tell who that is. And we see Oden on the last page. We see Oden, and Oden is there in the form he was 20 years ago. So that's a banger, right? That's just really, really... Oda did a great job there. We have to admit that that's kinda a banger, and next week will be a break. which is kind of unfortunate, but I can't wait, and we have to wait 2 weeks now. But let's talk about that a little bit because I have maybe an explanation for that. So I think that after Oden discovered the One Piece with Gold Roger, right? He went back to Wano. Kaido was already there. Orochi and Kaido had already everything going. Oden had literally no power there. And I think somewhere in between these incidents where he started to dance because Orochi demanded that, and all these demands Orochi made, I think somewhere in this area of the timeline, Oden already knew about the One Piece, right? He knew that they came too early. He knew that in 20 years there will be someone who should discover the One Piece. So maybe he asked Toki to let him travel in the future to see what is going on in 20 years. And also I don't think that Toki is able to send someone into the future or into the past and set a time limit for that, so that after that time limit is passed, he comes back to his original time. It could be. I just don't think that this is possible. We will see how Oda will explain that. But I think Toki is in this timeline now as well. So we should be up to see Toki as well. I'm quite excited to see that. And I think that Oden and Toki, after the battle with Kaido, however it will be, I guess they will defeat Kaido for sure. At least Kaido, maybe that Big Mom will still live. We don't know how the fight will develop, right? But at least now I can see that they can defeat both of the emperors. I've thought always that the 5 people from the worst generation aren't just strong enough to defeat two emperors. I'm sure Ruffy is the strongest of all of them, and I would even rank Zoro second place, just because I think both got the grasp of Ryo. Oda got several options there to go for power-ups or for reinforcements or for both, and I couldn't see how the 5 from the worst generation, so Zoro, Treffy, Killer, Kid, and Ruffy, would defeat both of the emperors. With Oden, I can see it. I can really see it, and it would be a banger if my imagination isn't wrong, that he will take part in this fight. They will defeat Kaido, and then he will travel back in time to save the scabbards from Kaido 20 years ago, so that they can travel into the future. Just a little bit of an interesting development. So he originally fights Kaido 20 years into the future, takes him down together with Ruffy, travels back in time to save the scabbards, and then gets defeated by Kaido in the past. It will be kind of interesting for sure. I'm excited for the chapter in 2 weeks. Thank you guys for watching. Next week there will be a break, but I will post a video anyway, something anime manga related, maybe even One Piece. So stay tuned for next Sunday. Also, just a little info. I started streaming League of Legends recently on Twitch. You will find the link in the video description. Let me know about your opinions about how Oden got to this timeline in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.